Hey, it's me, unapologetically T, and I just want to say, like, I know you can see the happiness on my face. Like, both of my dimples even showing. Like, I thought I had lost one, and it was one always bigger than the other. But I literally thought I had lost one. I was like, "Where the fuck my dimple go?" But lately, I've been smiling ear to ear. And I just want to say, like, true joy does exist. True happiness exists. You don't have to chase it. I feel like once you embrace who you are, what your purpose is, all those things find you and you're able to receive and accept it. I kind of think it's always, trying to find you, but you're always constantly rejecting it if you're not in the right space. And yeah, I'm just happy. Like, I'm sorry. I am so happy. And it is not a mask. Like, you can tell it's not a mask. Like, you can see it. And so, and if you've watched my videos from the beginning to like now, like, you literally can see a glow up happening, and it still isn't finished yet. Like, that's the beauty in it. Like, it's not done yet. And I'm just happy for my progress. I'm happy for the people that love me. I am happy that I finally love myself. Like, I literally love everything about me, whether it is something that, like, I have things that, like, I just, have done that, I felt like I couldn't forgive myself about, but it's like now I look at them it's another lens that I look at it, and like I realize, like, there were no wrong choices. There were lessons, there were sacrifices, and you know, it was hard times at times. It was good times at times, and like, it's all a part of life. And I just want to say, like, literally, I have told my students to, like, embrace your journey. Like, embrace your journey. I used to help students with a year-long research project as undergraduate students, and not just undergraduate students, like community college undergraduate students. So this was like practically like something that wasn't done. And I think it's an awesome idea, and it needs to continue. But one of the things that they used to get caught up on was they just wanted to make sure that their projects were perfect at the end. And one of the things that they never realized or they had to learn to realize was that it wasn't about the final product. Like, they had to apply to get into that program. And if you got into the program, that meant that you already had what it took. And even if you didn't get into it was a very, like, selective process, but you all have what it takes to get to your hopes, your dreams, your desires, whether it's a project, whether it's, a goal or whatever. Like, you all have what it takes. And one of the things with them was, like, they just got caught up on perfection. How I know that so well. They got caught up on feeling like an imposter. Like, how did I get here? And I think that's why I was the perfect person to work with them, because, like, I experienced all of this stuff, and I even was experiencing it while I was talking with them. And I don't think they always realized that. So but that was the reason I was able to encourage them and feel their pain, because I too knew what it was like. And I can do that even if I don't know what something is like, but I'm phenomenal once I do know what it's like. So at helping others get through it. So, you know, I want to say at the end, like, they went through stressful moments, and they would go through these moments. Some of them would want to quit, want to give up. And, like, I'm going to come in and I'm going to just be like, look, you can do this. Like, do you got to do it perfect? No. you need some more time to turn in an assignment, because it's not about the grade. It's not about the grade. It's about what can you learn from this. And I think that's where education has fallen off. I think that's where life has fallen off. We're always looking for the reward, and it's not about the reward. It's not about the reward. I guarantee you it's not about the reward. Probably once you get the reward, it's fun, it's cool, it's an experience, and you're on to the next thing. And so all the time, like, it would be this journey, right? And it's about the people you meet. And it's a person that I love, and I think I have them on my Instagram. I think they passed away. But boy, do they embody what I feel. I think they went by Preacher Man. And it's about the journey. It's about the people that you meet along the way. It is about you having these conversations, along the way with different people, making connections, building a network. It's about the journey. It's about what you learn, applying what you learn, helping others helping you. And once you actually get to the finish line, most of us are left feeling like, what's next? Because we did not appreciate the journey to realize, like, how much we actually had accomplished along the way. So I don't know, that just came to me while I was talking, and I just think that so much applies to my life. I've made so many decisions in life, and I had to make a lot of decisions at a very young age too. That's one of the things that, like, I hold space for kids who have been adultified. And I adultified my child. I had to. We were living in survival mode. I could not allow her the luxury of not knowing certain things. It was very imperative for her survival for her to know certain things. So when I do speak about being adultified, I have some fault to go to my parents. However, at the same token, I was living in pure survival mode. So a lot of the shit that they did to me, wrong as hell, I didn't do to my daughter, wrong as hell. It made me tougher though. Like, I wish I didn't have to go through it, but it definitely came in handy for what I had to do to continue forward. So, like, I don't regret anything. I will say this, like, I don't fuck with sexual abuse. Like, that right there, like, that right there, that's one for you got to pay up for that one. So yeah, that one leaves people very deeply scarred. And I felt like being sexually abused at an early age definitely led me to a trajectory of continual sexual abuse throughout even my adulthood, like, just continual, even up until, like, shit, I woke up for the last time. Like, I just felt like, the last one it wasn't like, I wouldn't call it rape. I would say more of like being taken advantage of. So yeah, but it doesn't feel good, and it's definitely something that we need to work out in society. There are a lot of males who are suffering in silence, and I do hope you will have a safe space to get that stuff off your chest. And if you are really connected to God, you definitely can talk to God. But I do know that there will be safe spaces for you guys to get that stuff off your chest, because a lot of males have been sexually abused by women and men, and vice versa. But I do feel like women have a bigger it's the double standards. Like, double standards we got to do something about that, because double standards can be detrimental and beneficial, but I feel like it should be just an equal playground where we just start to realize that, like, sexual abuse is happening. Like, if a woman is in her 40s and she's sleeping with a 17 or 16-year-old kid, she's a predator. And I don't care who this applies to, who feels hurt about it, but you're a predator. We also need to talk about kids. Kids touching kids. So when kids are touched or they are exposed to seeing adult stuff too early, they typically go touch other kids. And I think that's something that happened to me a lot as a child. And I also was one of those kids that kind of like passed it along. I never really liked it. But it was something like that, you just got accustomed to until like I eventually like was like, this shit is cringy and it's wrong. And I don't think enough people have that as a natural thing inside them that clicks. So it's funny because my freshman year in college, we had something called Focus Inquiry, and it was like where we had to write research papers, which is kind of like what I did at my job on the community college level, except for we didn't have as much freedom as the community college level students had. And I picked a topic that like my teacher, she never tried to say like don't do it, but she was like, well, maybe you want to pick something like this. But I felt, even before I realized all the sexual trauma and stuff I went through, I did know I went through some sexual trauma, but even before I knew how deep it was, and I think I always knew, but like I said, I had a gaslighted reality most of my childhood. So but sexual predators always was something that like sexual deviance was always something that like I just wanted to know, like, why is this a thing? What can we do to fix it? And I've realized that a lot of the laws and a lot of the punishments for it literally makes repeat offenders. Like, it's not designed to have any type of what's the R word? I forgot. I don't know. But it makes the recidivism rate for those like doors and cycles to keep happening. So basically, literally, all you do is lock the predator up, and you basically make life harder for them in society, which we all know stress causes you to usually act on your lower vibration. And if your lower vibration is to be a sexual deviant, then the more stressed you are, the more likely you are to offend. They have like some of the harshest punishments, in which I think, like, duh, but like we have to look at stuff in practicality. So I did do a research paper on that, and I did have some suggestions about maybe we should try to look at that other ways. There are some people who have some extreme suggestions. Like, I've noticed that I think somewhere in Africa they have decided to like castrate them. I still don't think like castrating them would actually get to the core or the root of the problem. I mean, but they definitely can't do it. But then that doesn't answer the question to women either. So it's just looking at it as this patriarchy thing. Like, it's just only men that's doing this. And no, there are women who rape you. There are women who will put drugs in your shit. And like, you'll wake up the next morning and you might be, missing some money, some things. I do know some women who rape people that have kids. I'm sorry. I should not be laughing at this, because like it's just as bad when a woman do it. And I do feel like that, but I'm goofy, so you just gotta excuse me and know that like I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at how society has allowed women to get away with certain shit, and I'm just like, why? But they've also let men get away with certain shit too. So like, we definitely have to. New Earth needs a facelift, and we gotta start looking at stuff differently. But I did have some ideas for that. I do have probably my original paper on one of my old laptops, which I keep everything. So I do probably have that somewhere. Yeah, it ended up being like a 20-something page paper. I think we only had to do like maybe like 16 to 18. I couldn't remember, but like I really got into that paper. And the funny thing is I had no idea how to do a research paper. I think the year that I was supposed to learn how to do research papers, like I was wilding. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am gonna hold you. I had been to like 50 million schools my 12th grade year. So that year where if I would have stayed at the school I was supposed to, like I know I would have learned how to do research papers like correctly. Because the teacher there, he was serious about that. Like Major Jones, like he ain't play. Like I know Shakespeare to this day because of that man. Like he used to make us read Shakespeare, and I love him and appreciate him for that. Because Romeo and Juliet and Othello, I think that's how you pronounce it, Othello. I used to watch those as a kid, and like I think Othello had Omar Epps in it, I think. And then Romeo and Juliet was like Leonardo DiCaprio. So I love the story plots, but when it came down to reading, I was like, the fuck is it? It was a whole nother language. And it's actually a cool whole nother language. I love it. I love it. I love that he, require us to read those type of texts. I don't even know if they were like all in our requirements, but I know we had to read them. Like we read Beowulf. I don't remember Paradise Lost, but I need to revisit that because I'm pretty sure that it has some importance in this life. Like those stories, we're gonna have to just tell the truth and shame the devil. A lot of the Greek stories are stolen stories, and that's just the truth of things. However, a lot of the Greek stories do have a lot of meaning in them. There may be some shifts and changes, but a lot of them do have some good meaning in them. I don't know why I got on the Greek stuff, but I was thinking about like Paradise Lost and the Odyssey and all that stuff. So we did all that. And but I think 12th grade year I left and I did not have him as a teacher. Like a lot of people went to night school just so they could avoid him. And he used to make you like actually do your work, like and me and him used to bump heads, but I think I bump heads with anybody that tried to challenge me at a certain age, because I guess like my expertise checked out like when I was probably in elementary school. So by the time I got to middle school, like I just realized the education system was bullshit, and you probably had about like a handful of teachers that actually cared, because the rest were burnt out, and it wasn't their fault that they were burnt out. Like the system literally burnt them out, and they didn't know they had other options. So then I got to high school. I went to a military school, and I was like more focused on military than it was education. So like I just was bored, and I didn't care about learning anymore. Like I was angry. And I find that the teachers who challenged me the most were the ones that cared the most too. Yeah, so that's that. I have a whole I definitely need to thank all the educators in my life from childhood, like elementary school. I had some phenomenal educators. Like that's the whole reason like I wanted to be a Delta, because I had a second grade teacher like who was like a reading. She loved reading, like that was like, and she loved like multicultural. Her name was Miss Copeland, and she was a Delta, and she had all these elephants in her room, and we just learned so much in her class. I remember making a Great Wall of China for a project, and we had to bring in like food from the like country we studied. Like we had real projects. I literally can't say elementary school I did learning. Middle school, it was shaky. Some I had learning, some I didn't. I remember my history teacher. I remember my science teacher. I do remember my English teacher in 6th grade. Then I got to like 7th grade, and I think I had a good math teacher too, Miss Mendoza. Whew. Yeah, like I just remember all these people. I give you thanks. I give you thanks. You probably didn't know what I was going through. And that's fine. You can't know what all these kids going through. And that's why when I was a teacher, I gave two shits about what you had to learn for that day. If you couldn't get it together mentally, like how can I teach you? So I gave my kids love first. Love came first in that classroom. And it paid off, because once your children realize you love them, and they began to trust you, like they listen to you, they respect you, they allow you to teach them stuff. So I just was never a good teacher when it came to teaching to the standards. I was a horrible teacher when it came to that, but when it came to like learning, like I definitely like teaching my students. And when I realized that the school system was not designed for me to do that, I had to go. And I used to have nightmares thinking about coming back to work. Like it was just a hard experience, and it hurt me to my core when I had to leave my kids. It hurt me to my core. Even to this day, like one of my friends' kids was one of my students. Like I knew her mom and her dad before I even knew her. And to this day, I don't know if she's still mad at me, but like I ran into her like she was one of my babies. I ran into her at the mall with her dad, and she didn't even want to talk to me. And I was like, I know she mad at me. He was like, she'll get over it. Like, you had to do what you had to do for you. Like, but all my kids are grown now, I think. Like, them babies like in college, like that should make me feel old. Like, they are grown ups. I would love for any of them to reach out to me. Yeah, that was I love that, but I had to leave for me, and it wasn't even I left on my own. Like I used to pray, and ironically enough, God says you go sit this one out. Says you can't do it on your own. You can't stand on your own 2 feet and say no. I quit. I got into a car accident, and my world came crashing down, and it was just like you can't do this. So it was like basically what happened almost a year ago happened then, and it's all full circle now. So I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm dealing with the people I'm supposed to be dealing with, and I've cut off the people that does not match my frequency. I've even, had to cut off parents and, family members and all that stuff. So it's been a journey, and I'm happy that I can look back, and I don't have all my memories. Good God. Like, hopefully I get them back, because I do know I had a time, and, and I would like to know the good parts, because like I had to face all this toxic shit by myself with like very small good times in there. Like, so, I was grasping that straw. I was like, well, where is the fun? Like, but I do realize like I did sacrifice a lot of the fun to help others. And like I said in another video, like that was my childhood dream. Like when I used to be in my room playing, when I used to talk to my mom about what I wanted to be when I grow up, I wanted to be someone who saved the world. And I was always told that I wouldn't be able to do that. And I was told that life wasn't fair, and that you couldn't do it, on your own. And that part was correct. You can't save the world on your own. And I realized that. And once I realized that, that's what helped me break a lot of codes. So you can't save the world on your own. And so that's why you should find the beauty in others, and see others for who they are, so that they can help you save the world. And I don't know. I just feel like I'm in a state where I'm just so proud of myself. Like I can reflect now and just be so proud of myself. Like I literally sacrificed a lot to have a formal education. That part makes me emotional, because I feel like I definitely could have had a better quality of life had I did things differently. However, what things, what things look like they look today, no. So I can't regret that. All I could do is ask for forgiveness. And that's pretty much all I can do, is ask for forgiveness and keep it moving. But I do feel like I have been forgiven. Like, and I do feel like that's one thing people need to know when you are facing your own demons. Some people like to say your own demons. I just like to say you facing your own decisions and choices in life that you made, that you're disgusted with, or that bothers you or haunts you at night. When you do forgive yourself. When you do talk to God or whatever you believe in, as long as you believe in something. I always say that, like, I'm still trying to figure out atheism. Like, I even can understand the people who say, like, God, like the God consciousness is in them. I believe that. So if you do just believe in yourself, like, you still believe in something, but people who just don't believe in anything, like, I still haven't gathered understanding, so I can't judge you, but all I can tell you is that, like, you're gonna have to believe in something. And it ain't too late for you. So, as long as you got, this air in your body, like, which I call God, air in your body. That's what Yahweh, I think, translate to, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me. A lot of stuff get lost in translation. That's another thing. When you're stealing stuff and you're trying to put it into your own language, you need a translator. You can't just go over there stealing people's stuff and don't translate correctly. Then stuff get messed up. And then you got people who intentionally mess stuff up. That's what that Bible is. But that not all of the Bibles, but that King James, I think the Geneva one, I don't really like that one either. Yeah, I would say try the Ethiopian Bible. Definitely a more pure form for me. And I haven't gotten all the way through it. I'm not gonna hold you. And I was listening. I bought the hard copy, but I was listening to it on Audible, so I ain't gonna hold you. But I definitely, you get to learn about a lot of the different stuff in there, like Enoch's and yeah. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. But this is Teas and the Thoughts, and that's how Teas and the Thoughts work. It's a fucking circus in here of information. Like, I think that's why I can't remember certain stuff, because it's just like my brain is like, bitch, you might overload, like you superhuman, but like, you still human. And give me a second, because I'm about to drink and I don't want to drink on camera right now because this jar big and it's gonna make me look funny. Yeah, I'm back. But that's another thing. If you ever feeling like under the weather or you want to clean your body out, I don't think people talk about this enough, but straight cranberry juice, like real 100% just cranberry juice, is the truth. Like, but you will have to be able to take that bitter drink. And I want to try to get down to a concoction, like, but I think it's based on body weight of how much you should drink. So but I'm learning my own concoction. But I'm EA in the sports big, so I'm sorry, I just got a notification. What was that shit? Like, it used to be like EA in the sports big. That's what I am now, and I ain't gonna hold you. Like, that's what I feel like. I feel like my body ate somebody else's body. But I love my body. Like, I look at it and I'm like, oh, bitch, you ain't that bad. You just got a little fupa. You got to tone some places. Yeah. Like, so, thank you, body, for getting me through some really fucking hard, like, I mean, some really hard times. Like, I love my body. No matter what shape it's in. It's my spirit anyway. So, but I am at the point where I need to take care of my body, right? It's my vessel, so I got to take care of it. What else I want to say? I don't know. What do I want to talk about? I'm not going to rush anywhere because it's been a while since I've given y'all some content, and I'm just going to kind of like hang out here and let what's flow. But I like when my brain gets quiet. That's my peace. And then my brain be like playing too much and need to go sit down. And that's my happiness. But yeah, I think another thing too for me, we might as well just call this evaluating the journey. Another thing too for me is how I always kept sparing people that mistreated me. Like, I used to be like, you know what, God gonna, handle it. And look, I went through life like different moments. Like, I would spare people, and then I went through moments like where bitch, you gonna feel this wrath. Like, I'm not gonna hold you. I ain't gonna sugarcoat you. I ain't gonna make it seem like I'm this nice, fluffy, you know. I think that's where people get me mistaken at. Like, I literally will be, shits and giggles with you, and like, or like I'm really kind hearted and caring, and then like people see that and be like, oh, she's sweet, like she's something to fuck with. And it's like, I'll take all this stuff in and give you chances and give you chances, because I know what it's like to, be fucked over. Like, I know what it's like to be mistreated. I know what it's like to be abused. So I give you chances hoping that, you'll figure it out. And then you don't figure it out, and now I gotta fuck you up because you don't went too far. And so it's like, now though, like, you don't get another chance. You don't get another chance to think about that shit. Like, so I would advise anybody who has a problem with me, and I don't say a problem with me, I would advise anybody who has ill will towards me, like, and I ain't do shit to you, like, I would advise you to leave me alone, because you got one time. It ain't no more chances. You got one time, and people who have already crossed the line, you're done. Like, I just want you to know that, like, it's a done deal. And I think you already realized that, like, my ancestors don't play about me. God don't play about me. My spirit team don't play about me. People just don't play about me. So it's like, fuck around and find out. But I'm not playing about me. It's what's most important. And I had to forgive myself about that. Like, forgive yourself. You gotta forgive yourself for being nice, for being gullible. I wouldn't even say gullible, because I could see what was happening. I was just hoping that they could change. I guess that's it. I'm a fixer. I was hoping they could change. But I'm a healer now. I ain't fixing shit. I'll lead you to water. But if you don't want to drink, you don't want to drink. Like, go about your business. There are real life energy vampires out here. So we talk about vampires. Like, I love vampire movies. True Blood was my shit. They had everything in there. The werewolves, the fairies, like everything in there. Like, I think the only thing they might not have had was mermaids. But the fairy looked like she could have been a mermaid when she came out of the water. But I loved, all that stuff. And I just feel like sometimes we get caught up in literal meanings, and sometimes, literal meanings are true. I ain't gonna take that away from nothing. This world is magical, and, when the veil lifts for whoever it lifts for, it's a magical world. And a lot of people prefer to be, in a sleep state, because they don't want to accept the intensity of how magical and powerful this world actually is. And so I say that to say there are real life energy vampires that are spiritually trying to attach to you and drain your energy. They come to you as friends and family. And I just want to encourage people to realize that not all of your family members are people from your real lineage. Sometimes you can get infiltrated family members. Sometimes, karmic people can come through your family, or you can meet them as friends, and they'll trick you. I do encourage people who have experienced extreme abuse to seek education on certain things like narcissism and all that stuff. Like, I literally had to navigate all of these things, not completely on my own. There were like seeds planted. So, which I find beautiful, because I feel like when you're really ready for change and help and healing, you really typically don't want someone to do it all for you. You typically do want someone to like plant a seed and say, hey, like I said, lead you to the water, but they can't make you drink. So I respected my journey of finding healing. But yeah, I would advise you to educate yourselves on certain things, and that's what a lot of my videos have been about. it's just me learning to understand what I was going through, putting words to it. Once I put words to it, learning that, it means something totally different on a spiritual level. And it's just steps and levels to it. So I advise you to start somewhere. I think it all started for me with mental health and therapy, and I also had a psychiatrist, like, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. And my body used to eat that medicine up, like I don't know which I was putting in that shit, but like my body used to be like, like my problems are big, like literally, my problems are big, and but like where most people were zombies, I was like, I still feel it. Like I still feel the pain. And that's what I think I've realized, like medicine for me. I think medicine is important for, certain people going through certain situations, and having chemical imbalances is real. So I do feel like medication is important. Um it just depends on the person and what they're going through. For me, I realized medication was not doing anything. And even when it started to feel like it was like a band-aid for me. So it was like I'm not dealing with the root cause of my issues. I'm just masking what's going on with medicine, and it was allowing me to live a functional life, but I was still miserable, I was still unhappy, and I was still putting up with the same stuff. So it wasn't until like years of therapy, and there's different types of therapy out there, like there's different ones. And one of the things, if you are on a journey for therapy, which I don't think it's not a lot of time left, but for those who need it or whatever, like I'm just still here to talk to you. But it's not a lot of time left for you to go through the extensive therapy that I went through. However, you can be your own therapist and try to face things that happen. You can go to spiritual healers. Like spiritual healers can do. It's not. I don't want to say like we're replacing that, because some people like to talk about their things. Some people like to not talk about those things. I feel like if you are one of those people where you are trying to get to the root of things, and you might want to do it at a pace that is more practical than going through years of therapy. Natural healers are an option. It's a real thing. It works. I do Reiki. I've been doing Reiki before I was trained to do Reiki, and that was something that was definitely I had to learn on this journey. Like, oh, I've been doing this, and I did it a lot with my child. I did it a lot with my partner that passed away. Like, I did it a lot with him, like, because he definitely had a lot of different shit happen, when you are dabbling in the drugs, like and he used to shoot up, so like it definitely, like, he's had needed wound care and all kind of stuff, and like some magical stuff didn't happen. Like, I done seen his legs go from necrosis to back to fully healed. I've had situations where he looked like he was getting up out of here, and like I just was able to like sit with him and get him to come back. So it was just like it's different things that I was doing all along. And I mean, it's in my birthright, so it's in a lot of our birthrights, but it was stolen from us, right? And it's not necessarily it was stolen from us, it was hidden from us. It was hidden in the fat prints. But another thing too, that on the journey that I realized, like, I have met some really dope white people, and I've met some, I want to address this too. You have some white people that are white passing, that are actually different. They're not from just European descent. I do look at white people, regardless of whether you're from European descent anyway, as a human, because it should be spelled HUEMAN, and hue means color. And white people, I'm here to tell you, you're not void of color. You might be a little pale and pasty, but you still have color. You are hitting tones of red or pink, and and I got cousins that look like your skin color just got our features. So I just want to say, like, you've been brainwashed into feeling like you're not a person of color, but you are. And some of y'all drank the Kool-Aid and probably won't undrink it, and that's fine. Time is ticking. And the ones of you who, for whatever reason, did not choose to drink the Kool-Aid, I'm proud of you, and I love you, and I accept you for who you are. And I think that you are a part of us just as much as anybody else. And I will say this. What else? But I've run into a lot of white passing people who literally are of what society has called the minority group, which we're not the minority. That's another brainwashing technique that has been created, but we're not the minority. However, the minority is what has brainwashed us and controlled us to think that we're the minority, what has caused division amongst us. Like, that's the minority. But humans, which I feel like a lot of us are spiritual beings living a human experience, and then some of us are just human. And and I think that's just life. And then you got some things out here that I like to call entities that I just don't know where it's quite, what quite category to put it in. It thinks it works for the dark side, but it's really mistaken. But anyway, it's dark, but it has no idea just how dark everyone else is. So I will say this though, like, for those who are white passing, and let's say if you're Native American and you're not white passing, like me, I literally feel like my DNA comes from different nations or tribes, whatever you want to call it, because we all started out in Africa, and as soon as you figure that one out, this all started black. Humble yourselves. It all started black, and that's just a fact. And it's not to be grandiose, superior over nobody. If you can see in history, black people have not tried to be superior over you whatsoever. If anything, we have been very welcoming. Even after the hate you gave, we have been very welcoming. We have still been educated to teaching y'all, and we're tired. But life started off there. People expanded out, went to different regions. Pangea happened, and that's what you have here. We literally, as black melanated people, can code for any genetic coding variations you see: blue eyes, blonde hair, like all that stuff. Another fact of why you should know that, like, white people are not void of color, so why we call them white people, is that albinos literally are that genetic coding represents the lack of pigment. So that is what we would consider the void of color. And y'all not it, baby. Y'all not it. That's not y'all. So I'm gonna need y'all to, rearrange that, change that. And I love my albino peeps. I love y'all. Y'all are so beautiful, and I hope that y'all get to have so much more limelight. I love to see y'all in movies or creative projects, videos. Like, I literally do. I think, like, this wasn't my first experience seeing somebody. I think my first experience was like X-Files. which I hate that for y'all. Like, I hate that y'all roles in the past have been scary stuff and not more of your intellect and showcasing your beauty. Like, I think one of my favorites, which he still was the bad guy, but if you used to watch like Luke Cage on I think it was Luke Cage. It was on Netflix. Like, I used to love Luke Cage on Netflix. Dante used to get mad and say I used to like the man. He used to be like, bruh, I like the show. But yeah, Luke Cage was sweet. But it was an albino guy and they made him like the villain there. But like, I liked him. I think so, yeah. Let me look it up and make sure that I ain't tripping, because sometimes this brain of mine, like, it'll go somewhere and be in a whole nother timeline. Maybe in that other timeline that man was albino, but he wasn't albino in this one. Let me see. Yep, Marvel's Luke Cage. Black man, black man. I don't see him. Maybe I'm tripping. I must be tripping. Let me Google. Was it, maybe it wasn't Luke Cage? Was it what's the other one where those sisters played in? Like China, Black Lightning? Was it Black Lightning? Let me see if it was Black Lightning, because that's my, I used to like to watch that too. Like, I'm a nigga, I'm sorry. I'm a girl that like boy shit. But maybe like let's normalize that boy shit ain't just boy shit though. Like, we gotta do gender roles too, because Lord, yes, I am woman, but yes, I love comics. Like, does that make me a man? Or does that make me a boy? Yes, I like climbing trees. They're fun. No, I don't want to wear a dress all the time. I don't. Let's see, Black Lightning. I think it is Black Lightning. Well, let me see the cast members. Yes. So his name is Tobias. No. I think his name is Carndon. I don't know. And I think he played Tobias in there. So, wrong show. It was Black Lightning. But yeah, I liked his character. So, shout out to him. I cannot pronounce your name, and I hate when I can't pronounce somebody's name. So, I'm going to spell it Krondon. Shout out to you. But yeah, I feel like a lot of me growing up and me being I wasn't even like the darkest skin, but me being a darker tone, society looks at me like I'm dark skinned. Yeah, like I felt like I wasn't included in being beautiful and being a part of certain ethnicities. It was just like, I'm African, but literally I have genetics that I'm native. Like, you can look at, certain stuff, but I do want people to realize, like, literally all of those genetic codings, like when we think about like Asia, being Hawaiian, like, so Pacific Island, like all these different demographics, they're places. But however, we originated in Africa. So Africa, the Africans literally code for all those things. Where you're from is where you're from. That's your nationality. So, but I do have indigenous people in my bloodline that were already here. And that's why, like, why would I, not claim America? Because something has hijacked it. I literally, my ancestors were here first. So I say that to say that there are a lot of people that's white passing There's a lot of Afro Latinos that, have been conditioned to think that they're not black, and maybe you're black, you're African. And I just want us to start embracing that more and allowing others to feel a part. Because I did have this experience once, when I was teaching, and she was white passing. She was older than me, and she was white passing, and she was telling me how she was Native American, and because she was white passing, I just brushed her off because I was just like, like, nigga, you got certain privileges. Like, even if you are Native American, like, you have certain privileges that, like, I just don't have. And I don't like when people who yeah, you might have a struggle story, but like as a white passing person, or and that's what I'm just gonna call it, white passing person, which simply means that society does not deem you as a threat. They may look at you like you're a poor, trash. I'm not going to say the white part, but, they might look at you as you're poor trash, which they do to all of us. However, I do give y'all that. They do treat y'all, like bad with that. But at the same token, you still have certain privileges that me as a darker skinned person, no matter what my genetic coding is, no matter what, society deems me as more of a threat than they do you. And I think just hands down, our stories may have similarities, but our stories are not the same hardship. And she might have gotten it confused that maybe I was dismissing her lineage, but like, it's literally like, I just don't want to hear you complaining. Like, I just don't. And I probably was being insensitive at the time, because now I'm older. It's more like, I know we all have struggles, and it's okay for us all to complain like about our struggles, but I just don't like when somebody try to compare their struggles to mine. In the sense of someone who has privilege over me. I don't mind another black sister coming to complain to me about what's going on, because I know she gets it. I know he gets it. So I don't mind that. But it's like when it's someone else who has certain privileges because their skin tone is lighter, that's when it bothers me. And it's just like, even with that situation, she had the knowledge to know her lineage. I've had to piece together my lineage, literally. I've had to piece together my lineage through unlocking codes in my DNA, and also, like going back in time in history and looking at, like, marriage license, and they tricked a lot of African Americans out of, and I say African Americans because not all of us were slaves. However, some of us were slaves, and I have slave lineage in me, and I'm proud of it, like beast mode. That's why I get that beast from. I get that warrior from my natives. I get that beast. That dog in me. I get that from my African slave lineage, and they want slaves, before they came over here. So like, yeah, that's why I get that. I get a lot of that. Yeah, I'm proud of my lineage. I don't care where it came from. It all originated from Africa anyway, period, point blank. So we'll call it what it is. But I had to piece mine together. Like, a lot of times we, if you were already, black and over here, because black people were over here before Columbus came. And we need to change Columbus off of that period. Like, can y'all take that man off there? Like, why is that man still there? What's wrong with this country? Like, this country is sick. Like, why that man still there? Why is indigenous people sharing a holiday with him? He shouldn't have a holiday at all. Like, at all. Shame on him. Ignorant Spaniard. And no, I'm not taking that back. He was very ignorant. Didn't even know where the hell he was at. But anyway, yeah, they used to trick us out of instead of putting Native American or Indian on our application, like when we filled out stuff, they would get us to write, whatever, colored or Negro or whatever. Um, so they tricked a lot of us out of our birthrights as natives, and because as Native Americans, you have certain rights. And even the ones now that do have claims to those rights, like I'm still, researching my lineage. Like I come from the original colony, so like I know my history is rich. I got that Matoka in me. Like I'm just, I'm just on this little path of learning history. I know who I am. I am who I am regardless, but learning my history and all that stuff is very important for people to know their history. Cuz it's really hard to try to figure out who you are. It's not impossible, but it's harder. It's easier to know who you are if you know where you came from. And that's what a lot of African Americans don't have anymore. And we watch other ethnic groups, you know, chastise us because what's put in the media, like a lot of ethnic groups, whether they're black descent, whatever, like, it's all confusing, but you get what I'm saying. Like they look down on us. Like every group of people look down on African Americans, especially they look at us like we're dumb people and have no idea what we've been through over here. Have no idea what we've been through over here. Like, please don't judge. Please don't judge. You have no idea what we've been through over here. And then if you do have any idea what we've been through over here and you still judging, it's something wrong with you, not us. Yeah. It's not us that's the problem. Maybe you need to stop believing the media and start actually having conversation with certain people. Yeah, there's a lot of damage, psychological damage done to some of our people, and as a whole though, like we still beasts. We got that dog in us, and like no matter what you do to us, we still here. And we're gonna still be here. And 2024 has been a year for the truth tellers. Like 2024 2024 has been the year for the people with heart, the people who do not care about vanity, do not care about the riches, who do not care about all that extra stuff. Like 2024 is for the truth tellers. And it's time. It's time. The veil has been lifting and lifting and lifting, and I don't know how much it gotta lift, but trust God and know that everything is being done in God's timing. However, the clock is ticking. So yeah, I do feel like there's a lot of re-education needing to be done. Like I said, white passing people, you have had a luxury that, darker tone people did not have. However, you are still our people. And we got to heal from all the chaos and confusion and separation and all that stuff that was caused and put on us. It was just caused to keep us divided. And like I said, maybe I was immature when I met her. Maybe she was immature. I felt like she was very immature. That was another thing. Like age ain't nothing but a number. And I ain't talking about no R. Kelly stuff. I'm talking about I'm talking about age ain't nothing but a number when it comes to how much someone knows. Cause I felt like she was very immature at the time, which caused me to like kind of like back up off of her. Because I experienced a lot of different people, and I just felt like, her spirit wasn't right at the time. But looking back on things, I understand why her spirit wasn't right. She was overworked, underappreciated, but please don't take it out on me. I didn't do it. I literally came into that workspace happy, motivated, passionate, and it felt like a lot of people wanted to knock me down a couple of notches. And it was like when I didn't do my job, no one bothered me. But when I did my job the right way, I got bothered. But I will apologize to anybody that was white passing that maybe I didn't see you for who you were. I do now. I'm older now, and you have no idea what I was going through as a person to be born in my skin tone and had to endure the things I had to endure, and see you complain when, yes, you had it hard, but you still have no idea. No idea. At least you knew your birthright. I'm walking around aimlessly thinking like I ain't shit. Like, I'm ugly, I'm, undesirable. I'm like the untouchables in India. Like, that needs to change. Like, when we gonna reevaluate Gandhi? But that's another conversation. I think I'm done for today. Like, I'm done for today. I think I've said a lot and still haven't said enough. So I am going to end on that note, and yeah, I'm gonna just end on that note, and I'm gonna go back to smiling with my comedic side, that lives in me. I'm gonna go back to laughing, because that was a lot of real shit that I just had to process. Well, not process, because I already processed this, that I had to get out. But I guess somebody need to hear it. I don't know. I do know someone needed to hear it. I'm gonna go. Bye bye.